So guys, again, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you carving out some time. And the title of today's presentation is How to Make Your Underspin Slice Backhand Drive Really Skid Low Through the Bounce without it ever sitting up over there again. And, for those of you who are new to me, I know we've got some new folks on today's webinar who are, completely new WebTennis subscribers. My name is Brent Abel, been teaching coaching tennis for 45 years, 7 national USA age group titles in singles and doubles, hopefully so far, and the founder of WebTennis.com back in the Pleistocene era of the internet back in 1999. And, this is what we're working on today. And what I want to help you with is if your slice backhand literally just sits up over there after the bounce, just begging your opponent to unload on it, then you know what? And I'm serious about that. It's not really your fault. I mean, the chances are very good that either a teaching pro, an instructional DVD or book, or maybe even one of your tennis pals has said that you've got to swing high to low to create slice with your backhand. I mean, if you got to swing the opposite direction, right, low to high to produce topspin, then it must make sense to swing high to low to create underspin, right? Well, only if you want your slice backhand to just sit up for your opponent. So yeah, if that's the advice you've had in the past, then my goal today is to do a couple of things. Number one, I want to completely shatter that myth about a high to low swing path, which actually does make your slice backhand sit up. And then number two, I want, instead I want to give you a foundational secret for how to make your slice backhand skid low so that you get lots of offensive opportunities. And here's what I call the promised land. Here's what it looks like. That was kind of the rear view. Here's the side view. But this is the low skidding, very accurate slice backhand that I want you guys to eventually get. And the swing path actually drops down slightly behind the ball prior to contact. It does not go directly down. It goes down first, and then it goes out forward through the ball out to the finish. So, the swing doesn't go literally from high to low directly down at the ball to create the slice that skids. One of the keys to creating a skidding slice is to use a continental grip. If you're using an Eastern backhand grip, or even worse, an Eastern forehand grip, it's not going to work. The continental is going to slightly open the racket face to create that underspin that you want. And, before I was coached by the legendary tennis pro Tom Stowe back in the 80s, my slice backhand, I'm serious, was my opponent's meal ticket. And since I couldn't hit a decent topspin backhand then, I would literally hack straight down on it. And as we now know, it just sat up over there begging my opponent to take charge. But, luckily with Mr. Stowe, he showed me from the first day I worked with him that it was really my swing path that was the real culprit. I had a good continental grip. My setup was okay, but my high to low swing path was creating a spin that just floated over there. And when it bounced, you know what? It did not skid. It did not really move through that bounce. So along with a few other tweaks I got from Mr. Stowe to my setup position, my grip tension, the contact point, and the eventual finish, once I adjusted my swing path to get behind the ball, I'm telling you what, not only could I drive through my backhand slice, but my accuracy went through the roof. And, the confidence that came with all that helped me win my first national doubles title back in 1984. And maybe just like where you're at with your slice backhand right now, you know what? I've obviously been there too. But just like me, I know that you can actually change this. So here's the deal. You might be thinking, is it possible to learn how to make a significant change to your slice backhand if you're not on the teaching course with me? And, here's the truth. Online video instruction is now one of the most popular ways of learning almost anything. And if you've got a mirror at home, and I want you to stick with me on this, I'm serious, you can model and copy, really clear instruction. And in fact, one of the big missing components that I think that we just don't do enough is really learning tennis, or I should say the big missing component from learning tennis is that lack of at-home rehearsing. Really when you watch an online video, you can copy and model that. And I'm serious, you do not have to spend big bucks for a series of on-court lessons to learn the secrets to a high-quality underspin slice backhand. And I'm also willing to bet that if you've tried to figure this all out on your own, or maybe even taken a few lessons, and your slice backhand is still sitting up over there, you might be having some doubts right now if you can actually finally go from floating sitters to actually driving, a nasty low skidding slice. And I'm here to tell you that you can. This is not brain surgery. If you can follow my simple instruction, your slice backhand can very soon look just like this. So one of the concerns that some players have is that they don't have much available court time. So they doubt if they can make any real changes to their game if they can't frequently get out there on the court to work on what they think might need a lot of repetition. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest missed opportunities for making real significant change to a player's game is right there at your home. Even if you can get to the tennis court each and every day, you still need to do some at-home rehearsal following a very clear model. I mean, this does become your opportunity to develop some real feel for a stroke without a ball. And I want you to think about that for a second. Most of the time when we go out and work on our game, we've got an incoming tennis ball to deal with. And our brain gets consumed with the timing of when that ball is going to arrive. And we never really develop the feel for a stroke. And that's why it's so important to do that without a tennis ball. So let me ask you a question. If you could easily access and follow my instructions from an online video, and then you quickly got a sense that you were finally on the right track to really getting this thing, and then you felt you could make this change to your game without a ton of practice time, do you think you could eventually be successful with this shot that we're looking at right here? I mean, I'm assuming that's your answer, because there's no question in my mind that once you make this an asset to your game, absolutely you're going to be successful with it. So what I'd like to do right now, if it's okay, is just spend a few minutes going over, a really special offer I put together for you to help you finally stop that dreaded float and sit and develop an accurate low skidding backhand slice. I hope that's okay for a couple minutes here. Here's what I've got for you. I've got my master online video, my master class. It's an online video course. It's going to show you what Mr. Stowe showed me, which are the 5 must-have fundamentals that are the foundation for your underspin backhand slice. And there really is a certain specific way to turn out of your ready position. Some people call it the unit turn. I don't like it because it's not specific enough to get into the setup position so that you can come up with a perfect disguise so the players, your opponents, don't know whether you're going to slice it deep, whether you can play a drop shot, maybe you're going to play an approach, or if they're coming in, a slice lob over their backhand. I'm going to show you, and we've seen a little bit about the swing path to the ball prior to the contact. This is a question that was asked earlier before we started today, which is the contact point. It is a slightly later contact point, and the reason for that is because you got to stay sideways a hair longer as you go through the swing path here to be able to really get that kind of spin you want. If you get out in front too soon, you know what happens? That's probably the second reason that most players get that float and sit, because their contact point is a little bit too far out in front. And then I'm going to show you the swing through the hitting zone out to a higher finish. Again, so many players stop below the ball, and that just creates the float. This course normally sells for $75, but I'm gonna put something else in this package for you. So number one, you get the masterclass I just mentioned. Here is the visual learning video. This is so important as part of the at-home rehearsal process. What you do is you watch this short video daily. It's only about 3 minutes, and you allow the images, slow-mo, real-time, to absorb into your mind, and you start to mentally model the underspin backhand. I normally sell this course all by itself for $50, and so far this package, we've got it up to $125 in value. So I'm going to give you that masterclass for the underspin, the visual learning video, and then I'm going to add another course in there, which is the vertical strategy for singles. And this is how to move your opponent up and back rather than just trying to move them from corner to corner and try to hit it by them. I mean, it is so tough to do that from the baseline. And so from this perfect disguise setup that we just talked about, your opponent's got no idea if you're about to drop them, or maybe on a semi-short ball, if you're going to play an approach. This is another $75 course, and this package so far is up to $200. So yeah, we got the master class, we got the visual learning video, the vertical strategy for singles, and if you play some doubles, there is a really effective vertical strategy for doubles as well. And mostly, you've got to find a way to stop those kings and queens who just love to lob, right? The lob kings and queens. And when you can learn how to play a drop shot return to serve, or when you can learn to play a drop volley to move them off of the baseline and get them up, that if they're going to lob from inside their service line, I mean, I'm telling you, it's a much tougher shot for them to play. But there really is a strategy as to when to do this. This course is another $75 course. So far we get this package up to $275. The master class, the visual learning, the 2 vertical strategy courses for singles and doubles. And then I've also put another course here, an online course about how to develop feel for the drop shot. Because out of this disguise setup, you're going to be ready, armed and dangerous, to be able to play drop shots. And there is a way to develop the feel for it. Most people think, well, it's just a whole bunch of underspin. And the truth is, it's not. You get too much underspin on a drop shot, I'm telling you, you lose control of the direction, the ball sits up, and it does not do what you want it to do, which is, at worst case, they get to it, but they're down so low that they got to volley it back up to you and give you a really open court to play it into. So I've got a way to help you develop that feel for the drop shot. This is another $75 course. This package so far is $350. So, just a quick review of where we are so far in this package. And then the next thing I've got in here is the backhand slice return to serve. And this is slightly different. The footwork is slightly different. The swing path is a little bit different. The way that you stay sideways is slightly different than when you play your standard, I'm going to call it an underspin baseline drive where you don't approach. This is really the classic chip and charge backhand slice return to serve course. This is another $75 course. And yeah, this package right now is up to $425. So a quick review so far on these 6 courses. And, it would not be complete without the forehand slice drive. And this is an online course that's going to show you that you've got to be able to show a forehand slice drive. If nothing else, even if it doesn't create this offensive opportunity, which it will, but just to show a different shape, a different line on the ball coming in off your forehand side. So players, so opponents over there are not getting kind of grooved into your semi or heavy top. You got to be able to show them a different line and, of course, a different bounce, which is a skid. So I'm going to include this course in the package, which is a $75 course. And yeah, we just hit the magic number of $500. So this package has got these 7 courses, and I'm going to sweeten the pot for you a little bit, that if you take advantage of this offer that I'm going to make to you before this Sunday at midnight, I've got 2 more bonuses that I want to include. Number 1 is my No More Peeking course. And if you don't have that, this is a course that is going to show you what I learned from Mr. Stowe about how to stop that horrible habit. And that's really what it is, of picking your head, picking your eyes up just before you make contact, really on any shot in the game. Sometimes we do it in the serve and the overhead where we peek down too early, but most of the time we're peeking up or looking up, looking out the landscape to see what we're about to do. And you know as well as I do, if you do that, what happens is you pull the swing path out of alignment, and it usually results in an unforced error. And it's not like a light switch where, you tell yourself, and if you've done this, you probably told yourself a million times, stop it. And you know what, it just keeps happening. So what this course will teach you is a method to go through, a progressive method to go through, so that you break that habit, and you do what we see Fed do, right? He keeps his eyes down. And for me, when I'm playing my best tennis, every time I don't peek, every time I keep my eyes down through contact, you know what? It's a confidence thing. I just feel so much more confident when I play that shot. That is a $75 course. Bonus number 2 is a 30-minute live private webinar with me, which is worth $150 if you were to buy that on your own. And what we do is we do a stroke review video. So you have someone take a little, and all I need is 12 or 15-second video of you hitting whatever shot you want me to review. If it's the slice under, if this underspin slice backhand, we can do that. If it's a serve, we can do that. Whatever you want to do, you have someone take a short little video on your phone, you text it to me, you email it, and then we get on a live private webinar, just the two of us, It's a one-on-one review, and then we can do a strategy where I bring out the court diagram video where we can move the players and the ball around, or we can talk about the mental part of the game, or we can do all of it. Whatever you want to do, that 30 minutes is totally up to you. The total value of this package, if you take advantage of this with these two bonuses, is $725. And I just want to show you just a quick little sample. If you look at the left, one of my online students, Dr. Bruce, and we were looking at his serve specifically in this part, which is the tossing motion. And really what I was showing him is the difference between where I finish and where he finishes, and how he could get into a better setup position. This is just a quick little example here of what the court diagram strategy session is that we could work on. We can move the players around. If you've got a specific situation that comes up in doubles or singles, or even if you want me to outline some kind of a drill for you. So I had two choices with this entire offer today, and I could go as cheap as possible and try to get just the core course, just that first course, the master course, in as many hands as possible. But the problem with that is I couldn't really stack on the value for you that I've shown you. So I decided to go with the second option, which obviously requires a slightly higher investment on your side. But in exchange for that, I can give you way more instructional resources to help guarantee your success with your underspin slice backhand. So, and just again, here's kind of what it's going to like. Here's what it's going to look like. And if you had a nasty underspin slice backhand that skidded low through the bounce, and you could play it with utter confidence in either singles or doubles, I mean, really, I want you to think about what would that be worth to you? What would that be worth to you? Really, in terms of having so much more fun out there. And so you can probably see why players pay me, $725 to buy these 8 courses individually in a private webinar, so that they can get this kind of a game-changing shot that so far has helped me win 7 national titles. It's really an investment in you having way more fun out there. And here's the thing, but because you've shown so much interest in changing your backhand slice, by carving out this time to be on this webinar day, I'm not going to charge you the $700. I'm going to do something a whole lot better for you. I'm going to get it down below $200. And you're only going to pay a one-time enrollment fee for the $725 package of 8 courses and a 30-minute private webinar with me for just a one-time fee of $97. The way to do that, if you're in front of your computer and you want to take advantage of this offer, there's the URL. You got to go to new.webtennis.com/slice, and you can get signed up. And your thought here I had was that if you were to come all the way out here to Northern California, and I've had students do this, and hire me to work on the court with you for a couple of days to give you the same instruction that's inside this entire package. I mean, you'd have to, you'd have travel expenses, hotel, food, plus my rate for those hours on the court. And that could easily all add up to over $1,000, depending on how far you had to travel. But because you're going to do this on your own, even though you and I are to get in the 30-minute webinar together with me to make sure that you're on the right track, you're getting everything for just $97. So that's where to take advantage of it, over at new.webtennis.com/slice. And if you can't get online right now, no worries. I'll shoot you an email later this afternoon, in a couple of minutes with that link so that you can get signed up. So you've really got two choices. I mean, choice number one is obviously to do nothing. And, your backhand slice is not going to change. It's going to continue to sit up over there and frustrate you to no end. Or you can choose to just, give this a try, a leap of faith, and just test it out to see if it'll work for you. And I'm so sure that it will, that I'm going to flat out guarantee your success on this. If for some reason this package doesn't work for you, it's okay, because I got you covered with my 365-day, 100% money back guarantee. You really do have nothing to lose. I really want you to give it your best shot, and it's totally risk-free. If for some reason this package doesn't work for you, it's okay. I've already said that. Pardon me, I'm one slide ahead. Anyway, you can start to test drive this thing right now over at new.webtennis.com/slice. So again, here is the end result that I want for you. It's this kind of a slice backhand drive. It's going to feel smooth, and you're going to be crazy accurate with it, and you're really going to develop that low skidding backhand slice. So just a quick review, the masterclass package. And again, if you take advantage of this offer before midnight this Sunday, you're going to get these two bonuses, and the total value is $725. But you're going to get it for a one-time fee for just $97. And if you've been thinking throughout this whole, what's the catch? Well, here's the kicker on this great package. Those two bonuses that I just mentioned, the 30-minute private webinar and the no peeking course, are only included until this Sunday night at midnight. And, I hate to do this, but after that, those two bonuses are taken off the table. So if you're on the fence at all, remember, you do get my 100% money back guarantee, which means that you can test drive the entire package risk-free for 365 days. There's the URL. It's new.webtennis.com/slice. Fill in your payment info and get started building your very own slice underspin backhand that skids low over there and sets you up for, winning more points, more games, more sets, and a whole lot more singles and doubles matches. And I know you can do this. I'm serious. There's the URL, new.webtennis.com/slice. And so if you've got a question right now, I want you to type it into the chat area. I'm going to go over and do the same thing and get onto my chat box. And hold on for a second. Let me get in there. If you've got where's my chat? Here we go. If you got some questions. So, Chris, great question. What about, guys, and if you're going to ask me a question through the chat box, absolutely. I'm going to stay on the webinar here for a few minutes, but go ahead and do that, and make sure that you hit return once you are done with typing in your question, because if you don't hit return in that chat box, it doesn't get to me. Chris, what about those with a two-handed backhand, especially with disguise? Chris, I'm gonna give you sort of a dose of reality here. If you play the two-hander as your slice, and I'm not sure if that's what you're asking with your question, but if you play, and it's doable. I mean, my bride, has got, an all day long 5.0 nasty 200 slash backhand. You can absolutely disguise it if you come out of the same, but you're just saying, no, I can lose to one-handed. So yeah, once you go one-handed, you're not disguising. Your setup, unless you're coming out of the two-hander with the one slice so that they can't tell, then you're fine. But if you're setting up with the one-handed look rather than two-hander, well, you're still showing disguise in terms of, is it going to be a deep slice drive? Is it going to be a drop shot? Is it going to be an approach? Or maybe if they're coming in, is it going to be a slice lob? So absolutely, I wouldn't worry about it if you've got a two-handed backhand. You can absolutely disguise that. Tom, hey, thanks for being on the webinar today. And hope you take advantage of this package. Do the shoulder blades separate on the follow-through? Separate on the follow-through. Meaning, and I'm not sure what you're saying, Mitch, other than, what I do is one of the ways that, expansion, thank you, that's better. Yeah, I mean, part of the swing technique as I go forward, I don't really think about the forward part of the swing once I kind of pull the trigger. I really think a lot more about, my non-racket hand, which is my left hand, right? I'm right-handed. So really what I think about with the timing when I make contact is just prior to contact, well, when do I want to pull my left hand back? Because I don't really want that left hand coming around with the right, because then then the shoulders turn, and once the shoulders turn and open up, that's another reason that ball goes over there and floats and sits up. Guys, any more questions for me? Those are all great questions, by the way. I have a question about the refund. Mac, I'm really disappointed that you're not happy with it, and more than happy to refund you if you'd like. But absolutely, you can get a refund on that. And you know what I'll do is I'm just gonna let you keep that course anyway. I'll just put it in that package for you. So no problem. Just go ahead and get today's package, and I'm going to go ahead and issue that refund. Just make sure you send me an email so I remember to do that, Brent@webtennis.com, and that'd be cool, Mac. Thank you very much. Kenny, let's see. Your racket goes flat in the backswing. Is there some wrist action? It's a natural part of the swing, Kenny. If your wrist is too strong, if you're too tight on that on the grip, you get too much grip tension, then you know what? It probably doesn't flatten out, and you probably come into it with too slow of a swing speed. And so you really want to make sure that your hands relax, because technically, if you model the instruction, it's going to lay down a hair before contact all by itself. And then you can get behind the ball and swing through, and then the racket actually opens up a little bit before contact, but it's not tough to do unless you have too much grip tension. So great question, Kenny. This could be private, of course. That's fine, Mac. No problem. Do you point the racket butt as you approach the ball? Mitch, I don't really think about the racket butt. It really probably points more sort of the outside of the ball. I've never bought into pointing the racket butt at the, I just don't, sorry, I've been distracted here by something else. Let me get back to it. I've never bought into that, pointing the racket butt at the ball, which I know is a popular teaching term out there. I don't like it, especially in the forehand, because it lays your wrist back into a position that you don't want to be in at contact. And so I don't like to overcomplicate my wrist as I go through the ball. And the same thing on the backhand. So I think if you look at it, the racket butt really sort of points more towards the outside of the ball. So yeah, answer your question, no. Matt, good. And I hope you'll take me up on that. And then Pat, what if you bought the package with the original email? Not sure, but Pat, I'll make it work for you. So just shoot me an email, and I'll make this work for you. Hey, John, thanks, man. I really appreciate you being on the call today or on the webinar, and I'm glad you got something out of it. And hey, Ian, way to go, man. Really, really appreciate you ordering that. And be sure to shoot me an email when you're ready, when you want to get onto that private webinar. So thank you for doing that, Mr. Mitch. You're welcome. Thanks for the great questions and spending some time with me. I'm going to hang around for a few more questions. Do you have something for one-handed backhand, slice, and topspin? Yeah, you know what I'm going to do is I offered that, the topspin backhand, which was more, what do you do on that incoming ball that lands right there around the baseline, where, when you get signed up for this webinar, that's not really an appropriate ball because it's so deep and it's bouncing straight up at you, where you really want to hack down. Even if you've got great slice technique, you really don't want to deploy the slice on the short hop, kind of take it on the rise backhand. And so HHO, why don't you do this? Why don't you go ahead and just shoot me an email, and I'll make this work for you on that topspin backhand if you want to get today's package. So shoot me an email, and I'll go ahead and put something in there for that one-handed topspin backhand. I'm assuming that's the question that you're asking. And Pat, talking about Mr. Stowe, writing any books. He did write a book. He wrote a book in 1948, and yeah, that was his whole deal. You know what? I've got that book for sale. I think it's only $37. Just shoot me an email, and I'll send you the link to it. It's a great book. It is all about simplicity. It's all about how to build the foundation of your game. And without working with him, and I only had 18 months in the early 1980s to work with him, but he just wiped out everything I had and helped me build that foundation, and then said, you know what, I don't want you to be a robot on this. You got the foundation. Now take your personality and lay it down on top of the foundation. And you're right. I mean, the message I got from him, especially as a teaching pro, was my job was to help students simplify, meaning it wasn't my job to add layers and more stuff, more technical layers on top of what you already got, which just is just an exercise in futility. My job is much more to help you take away stuff so that you really get it down to the simple fundamentals. And once you get it there, then you got something to practice, and you can make that stroke, whatever it is, repeatable. So Pat, just shoot me an email, and I'll get you the link to that book. Robert, thanks for the email. I'll probably give it a try, but I'll let you know the next few days. Randy, okay, Randy, thanks, man. Thanks for being on today's webinar with me. And guys, I'm going to hang out here a couple of more minutes with you. If you've got a question, just type it into your chat box there, and be sure to hit return. I'm sure some of you are probably typing it in and not hitting return and wondering why I'm not responding to you. You got to hit return so that it gets through to me, and I will answer your question. So right there on your screen is the offer I'm making today. The 2 bonuses are good through Sunday. The No More Peaking course, and of course that 30-minute private webinar with me, which is a combination of a stroke analysis of whatever stroke you want me to take a look at. We can do some strategy work as well if you want, using the court diagram software, or if you want to talk about the mental part of the game, how to be a better competitor, how to close out matches. We can do one of those things, or we can do a combination of 2 or a combination of 3. Whatever you want, it is totally up to you. I don't see any more questions coming in at this point, so I'm going to hang out for 1 more minute, and then I'm going to head over to the Berkeley Tennis Club and go work out, hit some balls with my bride over there. Good 60-minute drilling session with her, and get in some of these knifing, nasty, low-skidding backhands. So, guys, I'm going to shut us down. Thanks so much for being on today's webinar. And guys, as always, you got to get out there and do what? You got to get out there today and make it another spectacular day. Thanks, everyone. And just one more message for me. And oh wait, we do have another question. I better answer this. For the best situation in doubles to hit the slice. This past week, played a tournament, played in 2 doubles events, and there were a couple of times when I got stuck back in the baseline, mostly because they lobbed over my partner. I went back and had to throw up a lob back to them and could not get back in and off of my lob. And yet the next ball that I got, if it went to my backhand or even to my forehand, unless it was a super high bouncing ball, but it was medium to down lower. I mean, I would just play a slice approach shot that skidded and stayed down low so I could join my partner up at net. Rather than sort of pounding it, trying to play a big, heavy topper approach, that most of the time, let's be honest, we don't have the confidence to really rip it, and especially if it's just an approach shot, which is really what you want to play. And so what happens is if you give up a little racket speed on that topper, it kind of just sits up. So I like to play the slice to play as an approach shot in that situation. Again, this package also has got that chip and charge slice backhand return to serve, which is a great shot to play off second serve. Especially if you've got someone who likes to serve and volley. Excuse me, a great shot to play down low at their feet. So much easier to control. And if you've got a service partner who loves to poach, and you can get the ball down low and be accurate with it to that target that I like, which is that intersection of the single sideline and the service line over there cross court. I mean, if you can get it over there, keep it low, doesn't have to be fast, but just get it to land there. Even if you've got the lob king or the lob queen back there, they've got to, they get forced to move up inside the court. And if they're going to lob, they're going to have to lob from, well inside the baseline. That's not where they want to be lobbing from. Guys, I guess I'm hanging around for another minute. This is fun. Again, if you've got any more questions for me, either about technique with the slice backhand or something about this package, just let me know. Type it into the chat box and be sure to hit return, because I won't get it if you don't hit return. If you think of something later today that comes to mind, go ahead and shoot me an email, which would be brent@webtennis.com, and I will certainly answer that. So guys, again, I guess we are good to go. Thank you for being on the webinar today. And get out there today and not only make it a great day for yourself, but help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, we will talk again soon.